Hello and welcome to day 8 of project pack number 23.
My name is Molly.
And my name is Julie.
And we are continuing on with our celebration of the 20th anniversary of Zentangle and specifically the birth of Zentangle with this illuminated letter manuscript or a tangled manuscript of sorts. So we have some supplies here, Julie, and if you don't have the supplies that come with this kit, I invite you to use whatever you do have at home. And if you haven't watched our introductory video and the previous videos, we encourage you to go back and check those out.
Yeah, you really want to watch all of these videos in order.
Yeah. So today we're going to be working on this ring here.
I can't wait. It's been calling my name.
Yeah, I know. And we really have filled in a lot of other stuff. And when we set up our strings, we had put these really cool sort of like points on there, almost like a sun of sorts.
You're starting with the 05.
I am. More black ink. We've really been kind of staying with that. And I'm just dividing up this one point with sort of a band similar like you would with hollabah. So just kind of breaking that, that triangular space in half.
I love that small detail of just fanning the ends of it.
Right. So it's not just a regular straight line. And then I'm creating sort of like the beginning of crescent moon on each side, almost like sort of like if you had a full circle behind the bar, but it really is two arcs. And you can do those however you like, but you can see the proportion of how it fits on that kind of dividing space, carefully inking it in.
Adding an aura.
Just a gentle little aura, taking your time.
I love the way the pens feel on top of the watercolor pencils.
I agree with you, Julie.
It's slightly different, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's almost like it has like a little moisture in it. So now I'm after that one aura, I'm taking my time and putting in these orbs that are quite nestled in there. So just kind of carefully smushing them together. And this is a little bit about like a moon pie, of sorts. It's a variation on the Tangle crescent moon, which we often call moon pie. It's like these little like crescent moon vignettes.
It already just looks great.
Right? Just taking our time. And so you can see I'm kind of creating sort of like an outline there. And if I had done that first and then put the orbs in, it would have not looked the same. So it's sort of reactionary.
I was going to say, I love how you didn't make the arc first because that would have been my thought, but it really does change the look a lot. So that's a really cool technique you have there.
And then, of course, adding an aura again. Nice and careful. And, you know, it really doesn't matter how you fill your space, but respond to that point because I think we want to keep that point. So as you can see, I'm not going over that string line. I'm sort of trying to honor it to create this sort of pattern within the space.
And keep adding your auras.
Doing some wider auras to really create the pattern striping. So just to have these evenly spaced wide auras, and then to carefully go back and ink them in. I'm still working with the 05. If you wanted to pick up your larger pen, the 12, you could easily do that. In this case, to me, I had a little more control, so I just stuck with it.
I've really come to love the 05 in this project
pack.
Oh
my goodness, I love it. It's the only one I have on my desk all day long. I'm like,
it used to feel like the line width used to feel so big, but now it feels so comfortable.
Yeah, we were having this conversation at tea today, just about how it's sort of like an extension of your practice to learn how to draw bigger. You know, when we start off, and many people in the beginning of our practice, we tangle really small. And I think that it's sort of this humbling experience to put yourself out there and try working bigger because you can always go back in and create more smaller things, but to sort of try to work a little bit bigger and trust the process and watch how you can go back in and hone in on your work is really cool. So just inking in these spaces up here, not really room for stripes, but a little room for ink. So trying to create contrast and drama here. We have a lot of texture going on in the rest of the composition. So this really I think adds a little bit of punch. Yeah.
Well, I love a drama tangle. So.
Yes, Julie loves the drama. We know that.
But learning to work bigger also just invites so much opportunity to explore things differently, go in other directions that you might not have before.
And don't worry about having the same amount of stripes on each side. This is a question I get from so many of my students. Like, does it have to be even on each side? No, don't worry about it. I actually think it's more important to sort of visually space things out and what feels good for you, not necessarily having the numbers equal out.
So here you are. You skipped one of your little points.
I did. Yeah, I definitely am putting this particular pattern in every other point. So make sure that you pick the right one. And if you don't worry about it. Just keep going.
No mistakes.
Yeah, no mistakes. But I am just working in every other one. There's 8 points, so this makes it so we do 4 of them like that, which kind of creates almost like a square behind it or something. It's cool.
Those look awesome, Molly.
Do love that. And then just note that the one that's kind of half, because we never do anything that's completely centered or anything like that.
We love to be a little bit askew.
Yeah. Just pay attention to that one because it may sit a little bit differently, and figure out how you're going to respond to it not being a full one. Now we're going to play with a tangle called Perk.
I love Perk.
If this is new to you, you might try it somewhere else because there's a little bit of finesse to it. Because this first stroke is it's like a subtle S curve that kind of hugs this point. And it's almost like you want your spaces to slowly get a little bit wider on one side. They don't stay the same. It's and that's kind of the design of it. Subtle, very subtle. So cool. So here I am putting in the orbs, and as you can see, there's tension between each one of these orbs. They're really just kind of slowly filling the space, and not just putting a circle inside a space. You're really making sure that the lines we put down are holding in each orb.
And you can really see the difference between in the other tangle that you did, the moon pie variation, where you put the orbs in and then added the other point. Outline. We're doing the opposite here, and you can see how they do look different.
Yeah. And so you can see the perk is this really interesting tangle where it sort of appears like it's wrapping around the string space. And so it is one of those tangle where the string is really important and it actually forms the tangle itself. I actually love it. It almost seems like a seashell or something, but great tangle. And you almost want it to not be exact because you want those orbs to kind of grow and change and seem like they're kind of a little more organic.
And so now you're adding perk to the rest of your points here.
Yeah, so it's that stroke that's, takes a little bit to sort of play around with. It's a very, very subtle S curve.
But once you get the hang of it,
yep,
it's muscle memory.
Yep, for sure.
And I think in order to really get that wrapping effect, that first orb that you put down really has to be a full orb.
Mm-hmm. And then they slowly fall behind each other. Yep, totally. Perk is an early tangle. It's one we've been doing from almost the very beginning. Really fun one.
It's been fun to go back to some of those really early tangles.
So as you can see, by doing every other, you kind of get these sort of like layered effect of like sort of a rotating square behind it or something. It's kind of fun.
Now you're going to shade.
A little bit shading. It's been fun to shade as we go along, I think, on this one. It gives you that sort of like, I think that gratification from, when you're working on a tangle. Yeah. Graphified. No, I don't know if that works.
Yeah.
But
sounded better in my head.
Yeah, it did really. But it does help with your process. So you can be like, okay, it's forming a little bit here. I'm really trying to be careful not to touch those stripes to keep the highlight on there. So it's like, this is where the tortillon comes in handy because it's easy to just shade it all. Very, very careful. The little bits in the middle. Love it.
Just adding that graphite really brings it to life.
Right. And then
now the magic wand.
Right. Really just putting like a stripe down the center there. Seems a little aggressive, but it does the trick.
That's lovely.
Right. And sometimes just touching it with the tortillon afterwards. You don't have to do too much, but it really does kind of make it pop. Needs a little bit more.
That's the thing. You can always add more. You can't take it away, but you can always add more. Here you're, again, holding your pencil at an angle there, which is always important.
And just this one, the graphite does move quickly on this paper, so you don't need a ton of it to get sort of that dramatic shading feel, even though it looks like I didn't put too much there. I put a dark line there, so it did what I wanted to do, but I was really careful not to go all the way over because I really wanted that highlight to be, effective. And so I don't know if you can tell, but I really probably like press harder and then really ease up on the tension.
Little highlight in those orbs.
It's subtle, but it makes a difference for sure.
Sometimes those subtle little touches really make all the difference in the world.
And I might revisit these orbs later, but for now, I thought I'd just do that for now. So pretty. So much of the composition, like if there's anything you're questioning, you can always leave it, and then go back to it later. When you're building something that takes so many strokes and so much time, and you're just trying to figure out where you want to put things, it's okay to like not finish a tangle 100% because there's going to be a lot of stuff that happens where you can go back into it later when you're doing your finishing touches. Just putting that white chalk over that space I wanted to highlight. And these tortillons for the white get dirty quick, so I love the way that looks. It's so
I do
fun.
too.
Really brings a lot of dimension to gorgeous.
Yes.
Chipping away here.
It's so much fun to watch you shade because you just do it in layers and small little touches here and there, but then the finished product is always...
And what's next? I want to make that band that we first drew kind of come to the front. Get all 4 of them done there and just kind of appreciating what we did today. Take your time on this. Enjoy your process. Do not rush it. And most importantly, have fun. Thanks for helping me, Julie.
Beautiful, Molly.
Okay, have fun. We'll see you soon.